Hey guys, welcome to another webisode of Brave Love at Home. Today we are having a conversation with a pregnancy counselor and a birth mom, and you're going to hear from both of them just about post-adoption support specifically for birth mothers and how important it is to ask for support because it is out there pre-placement and post-placement. So enjoy.
Hello, everybody. We have some awesome guests today. There are more squares today. Usually there are three of us, but today we have four. So welcome. This is Lizzie with Bethany Christian Services, and Gloria, who is a birth mom who has worked with Lizzie. So I'm going to let Alex start us off. So Alex, go for it.
Yeah. Lizzie, just tell everybody what your role is with Bethany Christian Services.
Yeah, absolutely. So my role is the pregnancy counselor, and I have the privilege of coming alongside of expectant parents who are facing unplanned pregnancy and just helping them through that decision. So we are here to help them navigate what it means to make an adoption plan, decision making, the thinking through the pros and cons. That's choosing and meeting, communicating with an adoptive family, and creating a plan for hospital time. And if they do choose to go through with the adoption, we walk with them through that. And our support continues for as long as they need. And it really is an honor to come alongside of birth parents in such a vulnerable time. Here at Bethany, we really consider this to be pivotal moments in their life, and it's sacred space. You know, we're followers of Jesus, and we think that what we do in this space really matters for eternity. So it's such an honor to work with such brave parents. That's what I do.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that. And I know that you just said you walk with the birth mother through the entire process. What does that look like, especially after placement has been finalized?
Yeah, so like I said, our support continues as long as they need it. And that support is very individualized. We don't have a cookie cutter approach for serving birth parents. It's very much case by case, what do they need? And we meet them right where they are. So for some birth parents, that's meeting with them with counseling sessions to process the placement and the grief and loss that they're going through. It might be a referral to a community resource to help them with accessing something to help them with their needs, such as housing, mental health services, or things like that. Yeah. And then for other birth parents, they just need some more time and space. And so we just text them every few weeks and we say, hey, I'm just thinking about you and I'm praying for you and you're not alone. Yeah. So it's very much individualized where they're at, and we're in it for life. You know, if they want to come back 1 year, 5 years, 15 years later, we are here for them. We actually have a Bethany pregnancy counselor who is a Bethany birth mother, and she still keeps up in contact with her pregnancy counselor from 30 plus years ago. And so that's just an example of how we walk with birth parents. We also have some support groups. So Bethany offices span across the United States and over 30 states, and some offices have in-person groups. Other offices will do like a phone call, and some do a Facebook group. Our office here in South Carolina just started a birth mother Zoom call. So we have moms that are 1 hour, 2 hours away, and it just makes sense for us to meet over Zoom, and that's gone really well so far. So we're excited to continue that. And then that's kind of the social side, the social support. Mm-hmm. But if they're not really ready for a support group, we'll also connect them with peer-to-peer support. Mm-hmm. And that looks like just connecting them with a birth mother who's been there, done that, and who can befriend them.
Yeah.
So we want to kind of support them in a comprehensive way from all sides.
Okay, now I'm going to ask Gloria a few questions. And Gloria, I got to hear a little bit of your story recently, but I want others to be able to hear it too. But can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? How long ago did you place your daughter for adoption?
So I placed my daughter about 6 years ago. At the time, I was at a really bad place in life. I was struggling with addiction and was basically homeless and staying with the boyfriend at the time. But I was not in a good place, and I was really depressed, and I actually was considering abortion, and I was driving around one day just kind of in a daze, depressed, and then put in my GPS to go to the closest abortion clinic because I had just driven and got lost down some country road. So then when I got to where I was noticing, and everything started looking familiar, I went straight and pulled up into the abortion clinic, but forgot all about the GPS being on. And when I did pull in there, like, something just didn't feel right. It just didn't. The air was like thick. It just didn't feel like it didn't feel good. So as I continued to pull in there, the GPS goes off and it says make a U-turn. But it was funny because the marker was showing that I was right at the right spot. So I immediately went next door to the pregnancy center that confirmed my pregnancy to talk to them, and they were just so awesome. They talked to me and were just so kind and caring, and they gave me the information for Bethany. So I contacted Bethany a few days later and started, my working on an adoption plan or learning more about adoption because I knew nothing about it.
Sure. Yeah. What did you think of adoption then?
So when I first started, I kind of seen as adoption as like something that you did if, you couldn't, like, I just thought it was a bad thing. Like,
Sure.
that's just saying you can't be a mom or something, like, you could.
So what is
Yeah.
what has life looked like for you since then? Because I know you've lived a lot of life in the last 6 years, but yeah, what are you up to? What are you up to now?
So I got remarried, and after I had I placed my daughter for adoption, I got remarried and then had another child, and then I have 2 other stepchildren. But it's kind of been up and down. I've had support from my husband and my family, and of course Lizzie.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, will you tell us when it was that you and Lizzie got connected? Because Lizzie wasn't your caseworker when you first placed your daughter, right?
Right. No, it was I think about a year or maybe 1.5 years, 2 years. A year ago, maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I was told with Caitlin, the one that handled my adoption and everything, that if I ever needed anything, that just to call, don't hesitate. And I remember spending like 2 days picking up the phone, trying to think of every reason to call. And so finally I used the excuse that I needed to update. And then when I did, I spoke with Lizzie and updated my information. And then she just asked, how are you doing? Which kind of opened the door because I was, like, well, I'm okay, but this is going on. And, it was just awesome how she didn't really, know much about, my situation, but was willing to like be there to, hear me out and talk to me and learn more about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, we're going to pause for a second. Alex, I'll let you ask Lizzie a few things.
Okay, Lizzie, jumping back to you. What are some additional support resources that are available for the birth moms that you work with? Or just that any birth moms that you encounter through Bethany?
Yeah, I think one of the best resources is the agency closest to you, especially if it's a Brave Love partner agency, and just calling them and asking what they offer for birth mothers. But even if that's not an option, there are online supports that will connect you with other birth mothers, such as birthmombuds.com. That's a peer-to-peer support system. As far as other resources, there are 2 books at Bethany that we really like to share with our birth mothers. The first one is called Tear Soup, and it's kind of an interesting title, but the subtitle is a recipe for, I think, navigating grief. And so it's just about the grief journey, and that can be really helpful while you're in it. The second is called Revealing You, and that is a journal style book for birth mothers. So there are questions and prompts, and birth mothers can just journal out the difficult emotions, and journaling can be really helpful. So those are 2 that we really recommend.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing those. And last question I have for you is, what advice would you share with birth moms who might be watching this or will be watching this?
I think that something I would share is don't underestimate the power of writing letters. Writing a letter to your baby can be so powerful, or even the adoptive family. Even if you don't send it, it can be really healing just to get it out on paper. As a pregnancy counselor, I actually write letters to the children that we place when I work with their parents, and I tell them about what it was like to work with their parents, different aspects of the birth experience that the adoptive parents may not know, and just kind of help them to have a little bit more of a window into their story. And so I think writing letters can be really powerful.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay, Gloria, question for you. What has been helpful and healing for you these last 6 years since you placed your daughter? I know you were able to reconnect with Bethany and specifically Lizzie, but yeah, will you share just what's been helpful as you've kind of been processing the grief and the loss and the difficult emotions?
I guess the first thing I would say was one, build, my relationship with God, because at that moment that all that was happening, I feel like, God was really trying to reach out to me and just show me that He loves and cares, for me. And that's just surrounding myself with people from church or just family members, and also now kind of connecting with other birth moms has been helpful, just because I know that I'm not alone, and I didn't do something that was horrible. It's something that was really awesome, and just being able to talk to Lizzie, or just talk about it has been helpful. Because for a while I didn't want to say anything about it. I felt ashamed. I didn't. I thought everybody looked at me as some kind of bad person. But the more and more I talk about it, the more I realize that people don't look at me that way.
Yeah. What surprised you about adoption? Because I know you mentioned earlier you kind of thought it was this negative thing and just didn't know much about it. But yeah, what surprised you about it now that you're in it and it's been 6 years and your daughter is doing well? But yeah, anything that surprised you?
Just the fact that I thought that it was gonna be like someone just take my baby and I'm not gonna hear anything about it, but just to be able to watch her and see her grow up and see that it wasn't like how you've heard so just I don't know, just to see that and be able to still get to see her and watch her grow.
Yeah. That's awesome. But what advice would you give to birth moms that may be watching this? Maybe they've placed recently, within the last few months or year, or maybe they're in a similar kind of time frame as you. But yeah, what advice would you give them?
Just never doubt that you made the wrong decision, and definitely reach out to wherever you place for adoption, try to find a different resource just to speak up about it to help get through, because it really does help.
Yeah.
The more you talk about it.
Yeah. Like what you're doing today. You're talking about it. Seriously, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, Lizzie or Gloria, that you would want to add or say, or you feel like you didn't mention? And no biggie if there isn't anything.
I think I would say to birth moms out there as well that sharing your story, like Gloria said, is so powerful. And there are other birth moms who want you to speak up, and they want the connection just as much as you do. And I think that's something I've learned from working with Gloria, just that that desire for connection is there, but somebody's got to speak up and ask for it. And so just to not be afraid of that.
I love that.
That's good.
That's awesome. Hello, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Lizzie and Gloria. And we are going to share Gloria's story with you. So be on the lookout for that link so you can kind of read her full story. But thank you for watching. Keep watching. Ask us questions or if there are topics that you want to hear, we would love to hear from you. So you can share those in the comments down below this video. We would love to hear from you. So again, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.